in the wrong direction. In fact, take a look at some of these numbers. The average American consumes between 2,500 and 4,500 calories on Thanksgiving Day. And the recommended daily intake, by the way, is 2,000 calories.
Jeez, and just to put this into perspective even further, to burn just 3,000 calories, you would need to run, swim, or cycle for nearly 4 hours. So in order to get your body back in balance, exercising is very important, but a gut check is even more important. And that is why we invited gastroenterologist Dr. Rabia De Latour, also known as the gut guru, to help us out on this morning after Thanksgiving. Dr. Rabia, welcome, and thank you so much for being with us on this Black Friday.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, very important here. We know a lot of people are emerging from their turkey Thanksgiving comas today because there was a lot of eating and drinking that took place on Thanksgiving. So now, a day after, why is it so important to get our guts back in balance after all of this?
In the last decade or so, we've learned so much about how important the gut is and how it not only modulates our gut health itself, but actually plays a role in a lot of other health systems in our body, including our mental health and multiple other organ systems. So keeping your gut happy is way more important than we previously thought. And whenever you have a big, heavy meal like Thanksgiving or any other big holiday, it's important to try to reset your gut, which takes about 2 to 4 days of eating healthy.
Well, okay, so the gut is considered the second brain of the body, but, you know, a lot of people say the term gut, and it encompasses a lot. Where exactly is the gut, and what is it supposed to do?
Your gut is basically your entire gastrointestinal system that digests food and processes food and then basically allows you to be nourished by that food. And it starts from your mouth to your esophagus, your stomach, all of your intestines, meaning your small and large intestines, and a few other organs like your liver and pancreas, all the way down to your bottom. And our gut also creates our stool. So it's the entire GI system.
So you mentioned, Dr. Rabia, it takes about 2 to 4 days to kind of like reset and get your gut back in good shape. But what types of foods do you incorporate into your diet during that 2 to 4 days? And can you like still sneak in some mac and cheese and some greens, or are we going cold turkey?
You got leftovers.
Yeah, we do.
I say everything in moderation, right? It's impossible to be perfect all the time. But what you want to do is keep those microbes in our gut microbiome happy, right? Those are the bacteria, and there's trillions of them. We want to keep them happy by giving them the food that they like so that they, in the end, keep us healthy. And they love fiber. So having a high fiber diet is probably the single best thing you can do for yourself. And that means a wide variety of different colors of fruits and vegetables, eating a lot of whole grains, avoiding things like processed foods, alcohol, and overly indulging in sweets. Those are all important things you can do to keep your gut microbiome happy.
Now, how does fiber and your gut work together, though, to keep you healthy? How exactly does that work?
Those microbes, and it's a lot more complicated than I'm about to describe, but those microbes love fiber. And basically what it serves as is something called a prebiotic. By feeding those actual bacteria and viruses and parasites in your gut, you're actually making them happy, and then the good ones flourish. And so that's how they work. And the byproduct of them digesting that fiber actually is really good for your body and gives off some great byproducts. So that's how it works.
Okay, I've been seeing a lot of the prebiotic sodas, which seem really popular on TikTok right now. You also mentioned fermented foods. Why are fermented foods so important, and what kinds of foods are fermented?
Fermented foods work in a similar way. These microbes absolutely love them. It's like their Thanksgiving meal. So you're actually really making them happy, and then they in turn will help you be healthier. So examples of fermented foods are like your sauerkraut, kimchi. In South Asia, we eat a lot of pickled vegetables called achar. Those are all examples of fermented foods.
Now, are there any foods we should avoid right after Thanksgiving? Because we're already a little bloated.
I think in general, it's important to avoid processed foods. Those are the things that can sit in a package for years and years and years. Those tend to be quite processed. That's a general rule. Also, try to avoid processed meats. We know that processed meats are also linked to colon cancer, and they're really bad for the gut microbiome. So it's important to avoid those. If you can, alcohol in moderation. That's always the case, but especially after the holidays when you're trying to reset your gut.
All right, Dr. Rabia De Latour. Thank you so much for helping us get our bodies back in balance. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great
Thank you
weekend.
for having me.